Hey guys, welcome in. Today we're going to be reviewing the first hour and a half of gameplay of Elyon, the Ascent to the Infinite Realm. It's a really interesting MMO RPG, so it's really cool. The graphics look great. There's a lot of neat things that we're going to talk about as we go through, as far as the good and the bad. Can't wait to jump into it with you guys. Let's go. Yes, that's right. Just as dramatic as the opening scene was, this is what the majority of the people saw as soon as they tried to log into this game's closed beta today. Now, from the very start, you get to choose between two different factions. Based on the history of each faction, it might kind of deter you to choose one or the other. One's more the freedom fighters, which is the red, or the kind of oppressors, the way it understands, is the Vulpin in blue. The way I see it, you can either be the resistance or you can be from the kingdom itself and be an honorable person versus a freedom fighter. Kinda cool though. Next, let's really dive into the classes that are available in this game. The first one that we're going to look at is the Warlord class. It's pretty cool, looks like the Whirlwind Barb from Diablo. Smash and grab kind of guy. I also went through this part and wanted to check out some of the different races that they actually offer for this class. You've got elves, you've got these little dog looking things, and you've got an orc, of course. Each one has its own style, but there's absolutely no difference in how they actually play that particular class. Next, we've got the Elementalist, which is a caster of a sorts. They seem pretty cool. I may do a class like that. I only got to choose 3 classes in this. The next one's the Mystic, which is kind of like your Druid, which is kind of interesting, right? So you're using plants and other things to fight. They consider them a support / damage dealing class, which is still yet really, really cool. The next one is going to be the Assassin. Now, of course, we all know what Assassins are about. Sneaking up, using the shadows, dealing a lot of damage, and then getting back out from the quick hits. And last but not least, we have the Gunner. Now, I chose the Gunner class as the first one to play through. It's kind of like your Archer or the Ranger. Not the biggest fan of it, but I had to try it out because it was something different. The last one we're going to talk about is the Slayer class. Now, the Slayer class is supposed to be the most fun, the biggest one. This game is not new, so right, is coming over to the US and EU servers. So this class is one that everybody talks about, but according to them, it has a big nerf. It isn't as good anymore. You know, as always, we like to cover the character customization where you can edit what your character looks like. I'm not gonna lie, I seen this cute otter / puppy dog kitten looking thing and wanted to play around with it and see what it looked like. You can choose different colors of irises and change the colors of the irises, of course. The question marks were really funny. I like those a lot. Next, you could change some of the facial structure features of it. I didn't really know what I was doing here. It's cool that you can do this, but it seemed a little senseless. This part was probably the most confusing. You click and drag to alter, which made it really difficult to get that exact set that you wanted on your character. The slider bar gave you some, but didn't really seem like it did it as well as clicking, to be honest, even though it didn't work perfect. There was a limited amount of things you can do with the sliders on the side, so they really wanted you to click and drag to do this. May need some work in my honest opinion, however, I still got the effect that I wanted by the end of it. I mean, come on guys, we have a badass looking little otter right here. Jumping right into the prologue, it was a little hazy. The screen shake in this game is crazy. It's not my favorite thing about it, but the prologue still yet walked you through a few of the basics to understand the gameplay and kind of give you a heads up of what's going on, where am I. In the prologue, the world is really cool. It's all steampunk style, right? Like, everything looks really, really interesting. Steampunk, there's a few bosses that are just these huge robots. Like, it's pretty intense, and I really appreciate the angle that they were coming from when they created this portion of the game. Something I think is important to call out is when I decided to go back and make a Slayer class, it gave me the ability to skip the prologue or to replay the prologue. That's invaluable for my time. I love this. Jumping into the next bit, looking at your mini-map, which honestly guys is not so many. I'm going to be zooming out here shortly to kind of show you how large and massive this map is, and it's kind of cut into different zones based on your level or skill. I really like that the map is huge because it's going to offer me the idea that I get to do a lot of different things for a long time, which brings that replay value and just level of, okay, if I have to pay for this game, I'm more than happy to do it because look what I'm getting out of it. It's in my opinion one of the other more favorite parts about the game. As always, I like to talk about cutscenes and how the audio works. Am I reading or am I listening? They do something very interesting in cutscenes on this game. Your character will be having a conversation, and typically the person you're talking with will say probably the first line of the paragraph, leaving you to read the rest of it. But I do give them kudos. When they're saying the first line, they are actually saying the first line. You don't have to read the entire conversation. I appreciate that a lot. Also, as you expect in any MMO based game, you're going to have merchants that are going to sell different items and things for your character. In this game, the NPC actually recommends you buying your gear from vendors in order to get better gear, versus crafting or going to do missions in order to find the better gear. I found this curious. In the time that I've played, I've neither found gear on the ground or found a mission that specifically says it's going to give me a piece of gear. After completing missions, every now and again there will be a reward that I get to claim, such as a sword, a helmet, or something of that nature. So I'm getting stuff, but I don't always know what my quest rewards are. This could be because this game, Elyon, is in its closed beta currently, but you never know what you're gonna get. They don't tell you what your surprise is at the end of the mission. Another very interesting factor about the game is that I noticed that some weapons have slots on them for socketing. You have different rune stones that you can find of various colors, 6 different colors. Each color offers you a different buff or something that helps your playstyle. I appreciate this once again very much. This allows you to tailor your character's defense or offense in the way that fits your playstyle and how you'd like to play your character. It's actually really cool. Currently, one of my least favorite things about the game is the user interface. When you go to look at your gear, it is actually kind of difficult, in my honest opinion, to see. There's no background to it. You're actually still looking at the world. Once again, I'm not sure if this is a closed beta thing and if it will change when the initial release of the game on September 29th occurs, but right now I cannot stand looking at my gear. One of my next favorite things about the game so far is the list of skills. There are plenty of skills to choose from, and your hotbar will support roughly 10 or 12 of those skills. Now, the thing that kind of catches me off guard is when you look at this, there is a lot. Luckily, there is a tutorial that will help you understand what is going on. Each skill has an attribute that can be unlocked. Based on those runes we discussed earlier and how high of a level those runes are, you'll be able to unlock different attributes to different skills. It takes some time to learn. It isn't cut and dry. I appreciate the level of depth that they put into skill customization and altering your playstyle to fit what fits you the most, but it is a lot to take in. So when you play this game, I highly recommend take some time to listen to the tutorials and read. Currently in the closed beta, you're not able to change a lot of your hotkeys. I do not like spacebar to be my jump. I wanted it to be my dash. However, because of how this game is set up, I don't get to choose anything other than spacebar to be my jump and shift to be my dash. A little customization can go a long way, especially when it comes to hotkeys. I hope that after the closed beta of Elyon is done, that is something that they change, because currently, I'm not a big fan of this. I saved combat for one of the last things to talk about. Visually stunning. Oh my goodness, does it look great. It is fast paced, the lights are flashing everywhere. Be careful if you may have some of those photosensitivity things going on in your life, but it looks phenomenal. However, there is a big pick at this for me. There are times in combat when I see my character swing but deal no damage. I'm not sure if the animations are on point or not, but sometimes things just don't feel right. This game does do somewhat of a great job of explaining a lot of the key features, such as your gems or runes that you are slotting on your equipment and gear. I promise you guys, you want to take time to understand what's going on because this will impact how you play the game. I really appreciate that they are adding these levels to combat, these levels to your skills, these levels to your gear that allow you to really change things up and make you more effective and play to the way that caters best to your style. This is actually a big plus in my opinion. It may take some time to understand, but big bonus that you get to alter and change based on how you, as an individual, love to play a game. I will admit, the UI in this game could use a little bit of help. It's not as fluid and as comfortable as I've seen in other MMO-based games such as Black Desert or even Bless Unleashed. Those are some of the worst user interfaces when it comes to opening up maps and things of that nature, but they still do it a little bit better than this game. I hope to see some improvements here. It doesn't feel fluid, it doesn't feel great, but it still works just fine. So I wanted to go back and showcase some of the combat in the game. Once again, fast-paced, visually stunning. The way the world looks is very, I don't know, it's clean, it's nice. I'm not upset with the quality of the way things look. I feel like they took a lot of time to make you enjoy what you're seeing. I think they took a lot of time to make the combat feel fluid, feel good. There's just a few things. When I swing my sword and I don't see a damage or I don't see health change, it makes me feel like I'm not doing something right. So I played around in this area for a hot minute trying to understand, is it the way I'm doing combat or is it the game itself? And it's just how the game works sometimes. You don't always hit. I don't think there's a miss feature in this game, but it sure as heck feels like it. The top 3 things I really do enjoy about the game is it's visually stunning. Like, it looks good. The combat graphics are really nice to look at. Get a little bright sometimes, but overall it looks great. Combat, even though it's not perfect, is actually still one of my favorite things about it. It feels fluid to an extent, right? The casting of your abilities feels just fine. It's just your normal swings is what I was having the issue with. And I would say my third favorite thing about the game so far is the unlimited customization that you're going to be allotted for your character's playstyle. It's either changing how your skills operate or what gems are socketed on your equipment so that they have a added feature state, whether you're tougher, you're dealing more damage, or maybe there's another buff that you'll be able to get out of it. The 3 things that I didn't like about the game is, thank you for putting conversation into the cutscenes. However, I do not like that you'll read the first line with the character and then I am required to read the rest. It makes me feel like the speed of the game is fast but slow. They read the first line, now I'm responsible for reading the next line. I'm not good at listening and reading at the same time. If you are, great. The next thing I'm not a fan of is the user interface overall. When I'm looking at my gear and I can still see into the world, it makes it difficult for me to see those little dots. I'd like for that to be a background or maybe a gradient to where I can still see through it, but they pop out a lot more and it's easier for me to see. But the last thing, and it's the thing that kind of bothers me the most, not being able to change my hotkeys is kind of annoying. It takes a bit of customization away from me, especially when it comes to how I'm comfortable using my keyboard. I feel like Elyon Ascent Infinite Realm is going to be a must-play game. As far as MMO goes, it's bringing a lot to the table that I find very enjoyable. On the Sly scale, I'm going to give this one a solid 7 out of 10. Even though some of the issues are weird, they're not keeping me from enjoying the majority of the game. But that's it, guys. I mean, in my opinion, most definitely, you need to play the game. I was lucky I was able to get a closed beta key for free, so it didn't cost me anything. But I may actually be dropping around $30, $40 on this game at the end of September. Remember, guys, Elyon, Ascent Infinite Realm, is coming to a Steam store near you. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I appreciate you so much. If you like the information, hit that like and subscribe. And always, as always, you guys are welcome to come hang out on my channel anytime. Have a great day.